Hello dear student and viewers, you are welcome to our video lecture series. Myself Professor Ashok Kumar and I am working in Department of Mechanical Engineering at Dr. Subhash Technical Campus. Dear student, today we are going to discuss one more chapter, and that is couplings, clutches and brakes. Actually this chapter comes in first year degree engineering syllabus, and the subject is basic of mechanical engineering. By looking over its large content in this particular video lecture, we will discuss only about couplings. The remaining mechanical transmission component like clutches and we can say that brakes, all those two components we will discuss on my next upcoming video lecture. Suppose you require to define coupling, then it's simple device or mechanical component generally used to connect two shafts together, and this connection is made at the ends of that respective shaft for the purpose of transmission of motion as well as torque, or we can say that power. So ultimately, if you are looking at a mechanical device and which connects two shafts at the ends, and the ultimate purpose of that connection is being to transmit power or motion, then of course it will be a coupling. Generally basic function of coupling is to transmit power or torque or even motion. Second function, that is you can see that in your screen, that is it absorbs mounting errors. That means suppose you are using coupling, then it may happen that between driver shaft and driven shaft there will be a little bit misalignment, either axially or we can say that angularly. So the function of coupling should be minimize that errors, and a connection should be made by coupling in such a way that whatever the misalignment is present between both of the shaft, it should be minimized. Third and very much important function from the coupling side is that it should be absorb vibration. We all know that in case of higher power and torque transmission, both of driving side as well as driven side, there are so many parts, and during that power transmission it may cause large magnitude of vibration. So coupling should have the property to absorb all that vibration which is set up during power transmission. Last one, the characteristic or say the function of coupling is that it should not transfer any kind of heat. As definition says, it only used for the transmission of mechanical power only. So here coupling should not transfer any kind of heat between driving or driven shaft. Now the material, if we are specially talking about the coupling materials, then coupling is generally made from the aluminum alloy, stainless steel, acetal and titanium type of material currently being used for the coupling production. Now we are coming across one more important subtopic, and that is the characteristic or requirement of good coupling, and if you require to have the coupling, then what kind of characteristic coupling should possess. This is what the requirement of actually good coupling. First, that is characteristic is easy to connect and disconnect. That means any coupling that you are using should be eligible, or we can say that it should be very much easy to connect and disconnect both of the driving and driven shaft by the coupling itself. Transmit the full amount of power. That means while using coupling, whatever the power transmitted from the driving side to driven side should be 100%. That means there should be no any kind of losses in between all those parts. There should be no any kind of slipping between all those parts. So this is what about the full power transmission. Third characteristic or requirement, that is held shaft in perfect alignment. That means if driving and driven shaft, what I have said in earlier slide, that if both have the little bit eccentric distance, then the coupling should such a coupling connect both of the members driving and driven shaft in such a way that it can minimize the misalignment present between both of the members. Fourth characteristic, it should be reduce the transmission shock or vibration shock, what we have discussed in earlier case, and there should not any kind of projecting parts outside the coupling body. That means suppose you are transmitting power from driving to driven shaft, and your coupling has some projecting part, then it may cause to have the damage or an accident for the person working nearby coupling. So there should be no any kind of projecting parts the coupling should have. After that, it's time to have the classification of coupling. Actually, there are two kinds of classification. Any can have the classification. Then basically there are two types. One is rigid coupling, another is flexible coupling, and both have its specific meaning. Rigid coupling means it is it is such type of coupling, or we can say that rigid coupling use whenever there is no any kind of misalignment or an eccentricity or angular alignment between driving and driven side or driving and driven shaft. So at that time we are using rigid coupling. But in some special cases where you require to have the flexibility between driving and driven shaft, either in axial direction or either in angular direction, at that time whatever the types of coupling are being used, that is flexible coupling. In especially rigid coupling, there is three subcategory of coupling. Number one is the sleeve or muff coupling. Second types of coupling is the clamp or split, or we can say that the compression coupling is there. Third is the flange coupling. In flange coupling there are further two types of flange coupling are there, unprotected and protected type of couplings. Whereas in case of flexible coupling you will find three types of categories of this flexible coupling. Number one is the bush pin type flexible coupling, number two is universal coupling, and last one is the Oldham types of coupling. Look at the figure. We are going to start first basic types of the coupling, that is rigid coupling, and especially in rigid coupling first type is sleeve or muff coupling. Look at the diagram carefully. This portion, we can say that the outside portion or the parts which is mounted outside the both of the shaft is generally known as a sleeve, whereas this part generally known as a driving shaft, this will be the driven shaft. And by carefully watching, look at this connection or interface between all these parts is like that. There is a slot, or we can say that half slot cut away inside the driving shaft and driven shaft, both of the end you can easily see, and similar cut, or we can say that grooves or slot are provided inside surface of that outer sleeve. And one sleeve, or we can say that key which is mounted half inside the slot of transmission shaft, whereas half portion of key is inserted in slot provided in internal surface of sleeve. So this is what the connection being made. Now if you are rotating this driving shaft A, ultimately power will transfer from driving shaft to key, and subsequently a key will transfer power from key to sleeve. Once again sleeve will transfer its power to driven shaft, and from the driven shaft it will be transferred once again to different machinery. So this is what the constructional and working detail of sleeve or muff type of coupling. Generally the sleeve is very famous term, especially you have listened while learning the subject internal combustion engine. In case of piston, or we are using sleeve, such kind of sleeve we are using in case of sleeve or muff coupling. But here is the difference look like that. In case of internal combustion engine, the sleeve whatever we are using having the less thick, whereas in case of the power transmission purposes, whatever the sleeve we are using having the higher thickness. Now look at the bottom side figure, that is actually cut or cross sectional view of the connection being made by sleeve or muff coupling. Top projection parts is generally sleeve or muff, and this projected part or sleeve is being connected with a common key. The half part of that key is inserted in muff, whereas half are driving and driven shaft. So this is what the connection being made. Right hand side figure shows the actual sleeve or muff coupling being used in various transmission purposes. Now second type of rigid coupling, that is split muff coupling, or some way says the clamp coupling or compression coupling. Actually, it is the modification type of simple rigid or sleeve coupling. Look at the constructional detail of particularly sleeve. Actually, this type of sleeve is made in two halves. One is upper and one is downward. Top half portion contains some drill holes, whereas bottom portion also contains some drill holes. So by using such type of split muff coupling, suppose you want to transfer power from the driving shaft to driven shaft, just you require to put the top half portion of this sleeve on top of the outer surface of both of the shaft, that means driving and driven shaft, and bottom portion remaining bottom portion of the sleeve should be mounted exactly below the driving and driven shaft surfaces. Now assembly being made look like that, as shown in the side view, or we can say that the cross sectional view, that both of the top and down half parts, there is a drill hole prepared, and through this drill hole, with the help of nut and bolt assembly, we are clamping this both of the halves, and ultimately we are clamping both of the driving and driven shaft with the sleeves. So this is the what the connection how being made in case of if you are using split muff coupling. One more thing that should be added here in is that along with that nut and bolt assembly, which provide more frictional and clamping forces to both of the shaft with that muff, uh, key is also being used in that particular type of split muff coupling. Look at the diagram. There is a one common key which is being inserted between two slots cut inside the top surface of the transmission shaft as well as internal surface of this split muff. So we can say that it provides higher grip, higher clamping forces, and in that way this type of split or muff or compression coupling can be used for the moderate power or high torque transmission purposes. Look at the right hand side. Actually it is actual diagram of split and muff coupling. You can easily compare between diagrams and original product, or we can say the original model of split muff coupling. Third category of rigid coupling is the flange coupling, and what I have earlier said, flange coupling can be divided in two ways. One is protected, another way is unprotected type flange coupling. Look at the unprotected type flange coupling. Look at the top side, the diagram. From the diagram there is one driving shaft, other is a driven shaft. Driving shaft, there is a on the driving shaft there is a driving flange, that means flange 1, and similarly on the driven side there is a flange number 2, that means driven flange. Now if we are looking from the driving shaft, there is a slot, and in which as mentioned earlier, there is a made connection between driving shaft, key and driving flange. Similarly connection is being done with the help of driven flange, driven shaft and key. One more thing that we should to discuss here is that in particular unprotected type flange coupling, there are two numbers of keys are used and which are being arranged perpendicular to each other. Look at the diagram, you may have easily idea, or you can also see the right hand side cross sectional diagram from which you can easily understand that the arrangement of both of the keys are at right angle with each other. Now all the driving as well as the driven flange contain some projected pores over here. Look at the diagram, and particular that flange a common drill hole is being made, and through this common hole nut and bolt is inserted and clamped over there. So it is similar function as that of what we have seen in case of split or compressor muff coupling. Now this was the basic constructional and assembly detail. Suppose you are rotating shaft A or driving shaft, the driving shaft transmits its power to key, and once again key transmits its power to driving flange. Because of the assembly between two flanges, flanges 1 and 2 being made, so power will be transmitted from flange driving flange to driven flange, and simultaneously from the key to driven shaft. So this is what about the unprotected type flange coupling construction and working principle. Now look at the below figure. This is a three-dimensional model is given. There is a left hand side there is a driving left hand side there is a driven, whereas in right hand side there is a driving shaft. You may easily see that in that type of particular coupling the key is being arranged in perpendicular with each other. There are two numbers of keys used. In outer periphery of flange there is a nut and bolt assembly. So this is the kind of the unprotected flange coupling, and generally used because of higher grip and the rigid connection. It can be used for the moderate and higher power transmission. One more thing that should be discussed herein is that name given to this type of flange coupling is unprotected type flange coupling, because whatever the projecting part, that means nut and bolt assembly, is remain open to nearby operator. There is no any kind of protective shield or cover is provided in this type of coupling. That's why it may cause to damage, or we can say that an accident may be happen while transmitting power from driving to driven whenever you are using this type of unprotected type flange coupling. So this is just an disadvantage of the unprotected type flange coupling. Now similar kind of flange coupling you are looking here in, and that is the protected type flange coupling. Dear friend, if you are comparing protected and unprotected type flange coupling, then there is only one difference you might will see, and that difference is that over here nut and bolt assembly, that means whatever the projecting parts are covered by extension given to the flange. So that's why it may not cause any kind of an accident, or we can say that the damage to the worker or operator working nearby it. All other characteristics remain same as that of the unprotected type coupling, except there is a protective shield or cover is provided at the top of the both of the flange, driving and driven flange. Then we are coming across second and most important types of group of couplings, and that is the flexible coupling. As what I said earlier, that this type of coupling is used generally for the flexibility and alignment minimization, and for that we use special kind of couplings. So that's why the name given flexible coupling. Look at the first kind of the flexible coupling, that is boost pin type flexible coupling. Actually it is the one kind of protected type flange coupling. If you are comparing boost pin type flexible coupling with protected type flange coupling, then you will see that there is nothing major difference between both of the couplings, except herein. Look at that, we are using here rubber boost, and we all know that rubber material has elastic property. So if you are finding that there is a little bit misalignment in axial direction between driving shaft and driven shaft, that means there is some eccentricity between both of, at that time we can use this type of boost pin type of flexible coupling. Generally working principle, constructional detail, or we can say that assembly, all are same as that what we have discussed in case of protected type flange coupling. Herein, because of rubber boost, if eccentricity is there between two shafts, by pressing forcefully nut and bolt, rubber, due to elasticity or elastic property, it will be easily compressed, and both of the flanges, or we can say that both of this shaft, driving and driven shaft, are come in axial position, means uniaxial direction, and that way connection is being made. So this is what about the boost pin type of flexible coupling. It is used, its special application finds where two shafts have a little bit misalignment in axial direction, specially used for the high or moderate amount of power transmission. This is what the special advantage of boost pin type of flexible coupling. If we are looking demerits, then we can say that there is a little bit complex structure. Initial cost is high. It requires little bit large space as compared to previous types of couplings. Look at the diagram, and this is actually 3D model of a bush pin type of coupling, and you may see that this is the driving flange, this is the driven flange. There is a drill hole cut on the outer periphery of all of the flanges, both of the flanges, and a nut and bolt assembly is there. What exactly the same thing we have seen in case of protected type of flange coupling, but you may also see that there is a rubber bush provided in each and every nut and bolt assembly. So this is the little bit difference between a previous one and bush pin type of flange coupling. Then after second and very much important type of coupling we are coming across, and that is an universal coupling. Dear friends, it may not necessary that the power should be always transmit between two shafts, those who have the axial alignment, or we can say that both of the shafts are aligning in axial direction. It may happen that in a special application you may find that there is an angular displacement between driving and driven shafts. So in such a special application you are not able to use the couplings what we have discussed in previous slides. For example, if you have seen the propeller shaft of four-wheeler, especially truck or any bus, then you may have seen that the crankshaft of engine and the propeller shaft of that particular engine have a angular displacement, and we require to transmit the power from crankshaft of engine to propeller shaft of gear. So in that particular case you require special type of coupling, and for that, for angular misalignment, if you are using any kind of special coupling, then this is nothing other than universal coupling. Look at the diagram carefully. In case of universal coupling, left hand side there is a shaft A, that means we can say that it is a driving shaft, whereas on right hand side there is a driven shaft or shaft B. Now in between these two shaft A and B, shaft A is connected as conventionally with the help of key provided in slot of that shaft, but herein key is being assembled with special design parts, that is the fork one. You can easily see in three-dimensional picture exactly below that. This is the fork. Look at the fork carefully. It has the two ends, and both of the ends in which specially drill hole is being made. Whereas on the right hand side, the same fork we can say that is provided there, but there is a little bit difference between the driving fork and driven fork. If you are looking for the driven fork, then there is the one center block is provided over there. Look at the diagram. Look at, this is the central block which have the central hole cut straight away inside it, and whereas the horizontal part which is actually in which especially driven member, or we can say that the driven shaft being assembled over here. So this is what the constructional part. If you are finding little bit difficulty, then you may also refer this figure. Look at the diagram carefully, in which especially there is a driving fork which is mounted on driving shaft. Similarly on the right hand side there is a driven shaft, and which is exactly mounted on driven fork over here. Now there is a common connection between driving fork and driven fork. That common connection is being made by a central block. Look at central block, and you can compare this central block with this diagram of central block. Actually it having the two slots, one is in vertical direction and one is in horizontal direction. Now how assemble is being possible by both of the shaft is look like that. In vertical slot of the block, and the hole made on top and bottom surface of particularly driving fork, there is a simple knuckle pin or simple pin is inserted over here. So in that way we can assemble driving portion with block like that. Similarly, one more knuckle pin is inserted in this kind of the internal hole provided in central box, and this pin is get connected on once again two fork ends in which special holes are to be drilled. So ultimately, right now we can say that the driven portion is also connected, and both of the driving and driven fork are now commonly connected by these central blocks. So this is what the connection being made. Now if you are rotating this driven fork in upward, or we can say that the downward direction, or if you are rotating driving fork in horizontal plane like that, then if you are rotating that driving shaft in either clock or anti-clockwise direction, ultimately it goes to rotate the driven shaft in whatever the specific in which you have applied the torque. So this is what the connection and actual angular alignment is provided by this type of coupling. Last types of the flexible coupling that we are going to discuss, that is the old Harms coupling. It's very simple to understand. Constructional detail is very simple. Actually, look at the diagram. There is a driving shaft and which is being connected by flange A. Similarly, look at the right hand side. Driven shaft is being connected by flange B over here. By carefully looking, you will find that there is a two slots cut in both of the flanges A and flanges B. But one may also see that whatever the slots or cuts are being made on the surfaces of flange A and B have the perpendicular orientation between both of. Now third part, very much important part, there is floating disk A. Look at the floating disk. It has two projection being made outside from the both of the sides of surfaces of floating disk. Look at the projection over here, and exactly the projection being made perpendicular to horizontal projection. This is so because whatever the recesses or grooves are being made in flange A and flange B, the projection are inserted inside that both of the recesses. And one more thing to be discussed herein is that projection or recesses provided with perpendicularity with each other. This is so because whenever the power is being transmitted from driving shaft to driven shaft, at that time due to high speed, it may possible that if the projection are being made parallel, this will be thrown outside. So in order to prevent that throw of the disc, especially in case of higher transmission cases, we are generally providing recesses and projection which are being manufactured or projected out with perpendicular direction. Dear friends, this lectures we have discussed about the couplings, and as what I said, next upcoming lecture I will discuss about the various type of clutches as well as brakes. Thank you very much for your kind of attention and willingness. Thank you very much.